I'm gonna wham 'em in the head. I'm going, buddy, I'm going. I'm going, buddy, I'm going. I'm going, buddy, I'm going. I'm going back to the place that I used to call home. I'm going back to the place where the antelope never roamed. Wild West Virginia, home of the naive. This boy'd be mighty pleased to see them rolling hills, rolling hills.
Daniel Johnston. During Daniel Johnston's career, the catch-all genre alternative music was created. The label was often applied to his songs, and some of its most famous practitioners were among his biggest fans. But the unforgettable home-recorded tapes that Johnston began creating in the basement of his parents' West Virginia home meant that he would always be a singular alternative. Johnston's songs featured a cast of characters that included Casper the Friendly Ghost and Satan, as well as his own creations like Jeremiah the Frog and Joe the Boxer. These figures and others appeared frequently as subjects of Johnston's comic book-style drawings, inspired by the legendary comic book artist Jack Kirby. And then there was Lori Allen, the funeral girl of his dreams, who broke his heart by dating a mortician, but became his enduring muse. Though he later recorded with professional and sometimes well-known musicians, Johnston's initial and lasting fame rested on the songs he created in West Virginia with just piano, chord organ, and his own wavering voice.
That he was nothing but a lazy bum, but goodbye to them, he had to go. Now he's Casper, the Friendly Ghost.
A devotee of the Beatles, the subject of one of his early songs, Johnston understood pop songwriting conventions well. However, his feelings, fear, loneliness, and rejection, but also a childlike sense of wonder and joy, were never far from the surface in his music, and made it a beacon for outsiders like himself.
But don't give up until true love will find you in the end.
Daniel Dale Johnston was born in Sacramento, but grew up in New Cumberland in Hancock County, West Virginia. He was the unplanned fifth child of fundamentalist Christians Mabel and Bill. Later in life, he would be misdiagnosed with schizophrenia, but in those days, Johnston was simply struggling to fit in like most teenagers. He couldn't find a band that was interested in his services, so he began taping his original songs on a Sanyo boombox. After he graduated from Oak Glen High School, college didn't work out for Johnston. He dropped out of Abilene Christian University in West Texas and later studied art at Kent State University. However, his first album, 1981's Songs of Pain, was the true accomplishment of those years. It begins with a cough, followed by a jaunty piano tune called Grievances.
If I had my own way, you'd be with me here today. But I rarely have my own way. I guess that's why you're not here with me today.
The song was inspired in part by his unrequited love for Lori Allen, and it ends with the memorable line, "If I can't be a lover, then I'll be a pest." Johnston moved back to Texas, where he worked at McDonald's in Austin and began passing out his tapes to anyone who showed interest. Enough people did that he slowly built a local following, and by 1985, he was featured on MTV's The Cutting Edge, where he strummed his way through the song I Lived My Broken Dreams on acoustic guitar and became an improbable cult hero. But that tune's beginning, which referenced a time when Johnston suddenly joined a traveling circus, foretold some of his struggles.
When I was out in San Marcos a year ago today, they probably would have put me in a home.
He was committed off and on over the years, including a stretch at the West Virginia State Mental Hospital in Weston in the late 1980s. That occurred after he tried to cast out a woman's demons and she jumped out an open window trying to escape. An even more hair-raising incident occurred in 1990 when Johnston was traveling back to West Virginia from Austin in a two-seater plane with his father, Bill, a former Air Force pilot. Believing he was Casper the Friendly Ghost and would be able to parachute safely to the ground, Johnston tore the key out of the ignition and threw it out the window. Bill Johnston somehow made a successful crash landing, and neither he nor his son were hurt. But afterward, Daniel would once again be institutionalized. In the midst of these and other problems, Johnston's music was earning him more and more fans. The Dead Milkmen recorded his song Rocket Ship in 1987. Sonic Youth wanted to release his album Hi, How Are You on their label. He recorded with Velvet Underground drummer Mo Tucker, and Simpsons creator Matt Groening was an early fan. After Kurt Cobain, at the height of Nirvana's fame, wore a Hi, How Are You T-shirt at the 1992 MTV Video Music Awards, there was an authentic bidding war for Johnston's services. He signed with Atlantic Records, turning down a lucrative offer from Elektra because he was concerned that his would-be label mates Metallica might be a little too interested in his old nemesis Satan. Johnston's one major label album, 1994's Fun, was not a success. Pop stardom was never in the cards for the now diagnosed manic-depressive Johnston. Yet his fame continued to grow. In 2005, his troubled life story became the subject of Jeff Ferzig's award-winning documentary, The Devil and Daniel Johnston. The following year, Johnston's artwork was exhibited at New York's famed Whitney Museum, and his portraits of Captain America, empty skull boxers, and multi-headed duck beasts became authentic high-end collectibles. Johnston continued to record periodically, releasing his final full-length album, Space Duck Soundtrack, in 2012. It was made to accompany a comic book Johnston had created about, naturally enough, space ducks. After a final tour in 2017, Johnston was honored by his adopted hometown of Austin the following year. He died at his residence in Waller, Texas, in September 2019 of an apparent heart attack at age 58. His music, though, lives on, as the new Daniel Johnston in the 21st Century Reissue series shows. More than a dozen of his albums have been remastered by noted producer Kramer, but their essential, magical strangeness remains as low fidelity and as singular as ever.
I gotta really try so hard to get by. Where am I going to?
Hi, how are you? This is Matt Groening from The Simpsons saying congratulations to my pal and favorite songwriter Daniel Johnston on your well-deserved induction into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame. Yay, Daniel! Yay!
Hello, everyone. I'm Patty Smith, and I wanted to join the countless people who have been inspired and influenced by the work of Daniel Johnston. His work has always been so innovative and yet maintained its innocence. And I'm so happy and would like to congratulate him and think about him always as now an inductee of the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame.
Our next presenter is one of contemporary music's most accomplished songwriters, musicians, and performers. He's a three-time best-selling author, a founding member of the influential band Uncle Tupelo, And of course, he's the frontman for the revered American rock band Wilco. Here to induct Daniel Johnston into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, please welcome Jeff Tweedy.
Hello. Well, first of all, I just want to say what an incredible honor it is to get to play a part in inducting Daniel Johnston into the West Virginia Hall of Fame. He's been an inspiration to me for a long time. Like a lot of people my age, I discovered his cassettes while on the road. A lot of musicians my age, I should say. But I don't have a lot to say that Daniel didn't say for himself. And so I thought I'd read some of his words and tell you how happy I am that history proved him wrong on some of these words. Listen up and I'll tell a story about an artist growing old. Some would try for fame and glory, others aren't so bold. Everyone, friends and family saying, hey, get a job. Why do you do that? Why do you only do that only? Why are you so odd? We don't really like what you do. We don't think anyone ever will. It's a problem that you have, and this problem's made you ill. The artist walks alone. Someone says behind his back, he's got his gall to call himself that. He doesn't even know where he's at. The artist walks among the flowers, appreciating the sun. He does this all his waking hours, but is it really so wrong? They sit in front of their TVs saying, hey man, this is fun. And they laugh at the artist, saying he doesn't know how to have fun. The best things in life are truly free, singing birds and laughing bees. You've got me wrong, says he. The sun don't shine in your TV. Listen up and I'll tell a story about an artist growing old. Some would try for fame and glory, others aren't so bold. Everyone, friends and family, saying, hey, get a job. Why do you only do that only? Why are you so odd? We don't really like what you do. We don't think anyone ever will. It's a problem that you have, and this problem's made you ill. Daniel wrote those lyrics, and I think he really believed that no one ever would like what he was doing. And I was happy to hear from his family that many years after he wrote that song, he stopped singing it because he didn't feel that sentiment anymore. And he felt loved and appreciated. So, it's an honor to present the induction for Daniel Johnston to Daniel's siblings, Margie and Dick Johnston.
Unbelievable. Anybody out there from Hancock County or Chester, West Virginia? This is an amazing thing, and I thank all the people that make this possible to honor Dan in this way. I'm here tonight as an ambassador for my brother, Daniel Johnston. In his honor, I've chosen to wear his favorite color, yellow. And I've chosen to wear the kind of attire that he would wear if he were here tonight to accept his award. He would wear tennis shoes, sweatpants, and a T-shirt. So, Dan had a creative urge from a very young age, and it couldn't be squelched, even by his journey into mental illness. He shared that journey through his songs and his drawings. With raw honesty, he shared his experience and his struggle, his pain and his joy. And the things that he shared, the message that he gave, has touched so many people. As his caregiver, I read his fan letters to him, And letter after letter went something like this. I listen to your music and I don't feel alone anymore. And I think I can make it now. Daniel, in my mind, was a prophet and a messenger for our world and for our time. And his beautiful message was this simple: hope never ends, and love is the answer. You know, Dan always wanted to be famous. He told us when he was very young, I'm going to be famous. And we told him, get out of our room, you know. But I think he would be thrilled tonight. I mean, how can you deny that he is now famous when he's being inducted into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame? I feel like his spirit is here, and he is somewhere jumping back there and being just in a joyful, his happy soul, one of his songs. And I think it's very meaningful to him that he's in a Hall of Fame in his favorite state, his home state of West Virginia. I'm going to quote one of his song lyrics. It goes like this: I'm a baby in my universe. I'll live forever. And you know what? I believe Dan will live forever. He's in every song and every drawing that he's shared with the world. Dan, you will not be forgotten.
You know, there's a common thread among all these presentations and all these testimonies of their experiences in West Virginia, and that is, growing up here, we were sheltered from some of the craziness going on in the rest of the world, maybe not all of it, but most of it. And so we had something to offer when we went out into the wild, wicked world. And Dan saw himself as somebody having something to say, something to share of value. And to tell you the truth, when he first played his songs for me in 1981, sitting at the piano, I thought, these are really, really good. But I don't think anybody's ever going to listen to them. And eventually I thought, well, people will cover his songs. But no, they wanted to hear his raw angst and something that it's hard for an artist to cover, which is his personal pain and feelings. And as Margie said, a lot of people relate to that because life isn't easy. And we do live in an age with more challenges and pitfalls. I'm happy to say that one of the things that we were able to do while Dan was still alive was create a foundation to promote mental health awareness. We call this the Hi, How Are You Foundation, and it's at .org. They do tremendous things. We have a concert every year. We've had shows in Australia and Ireland, and we are well funded. We are connected into college campuses through the American College Communities, campus communities, and we offer films to employers about how to spot problems and what you might do about it, and the same kind of advice, healthy habits that you could take on as a student that will carry you through life and maybe keep you from going down that dark side alley that Dan found himself in at times. Now, I want to point out real quick, Dan wasn't always crazy. I don't want him to be known for that. It was a trial for him, but he wasn't always that way. Another thing is, Dan couldn't have accomplished what he did except that people saw his worth and stepped out of the woodwork to help in some big way. And a lot of those people are here tonight. People who wrote songs with him, as we've heard about these songwriting experiences. Tom Bruda and Ron Harris and Kevin Still and others would come sit in the basement of our home, and they would have 5-minute songwriting contest. They were given a word in 5 minutes to come up with a song, and you'd be amazed at some of the amazing stuff they came up with. But that was kind of like a training ground for the things that he would do later, or just getting it out of yourself, expressing what is that thing that you're experiencing that needs to be put into words and into music. The Daniel experience is multi-generational. Anybody who was in their teens in the 80s to anybody who's in their teens today can appreciate him. And maybe you learn some lessons from him about being genuine and authentic in your songwriting, if you're a songwriter. But more than that, like Margie said, that you don't feel alone in the world when you find yourself in those spots. So he had over 550 published songs, and among the cassettes that he left behind in his archive, there's probably another 550. I don't know that we're going to publish them all, but we do try to perpetuate his legacy by re-releasing his albums now on LPs all over again. Isn't it wonderful? And adding tracks to them that are from the era of those particular albums that we've discovered had not been included on previous albums and stuff. And so there's lots of good things happening. And just this month, just to sell it, Rizzoli Publication, this is their second book of his art. If you haven't experienced his art as well as music, I invite you to do that, because it is a journey on its own. But thank you so much. Like Margie said, Dan would have been honored and pleased to be here. And we now, in his place, are honored by that. Thank you so much. Good night.
I promise you this has been worth every minute of the wait. Joined now by his band, including sons Spencer and Sammy, here's Jeff Tweedy.
It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. I heard Red Donnelly say it was on the news today. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's hiking across the country, looking for a bite to eat. You'd be surprised at the angles and the people you meet. It's rolling down that highway with eyes fixed straight ahead. A caravan of cars to bury the dead. Soda cans and pop bottles line the streets like flowers instead. A man gave me a right. I said, this industrial waste sure stinks. He said, I like that smell, 'cause that's the smell of money. I said, well, mister, money stinks too. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. I met a fireman. He said you never forget burning flesh. And a librarian said, do you have a card here? I've been coming here for weeks. Don't you recognize me by now? I've checked out 1,000,000 books just to get you to notice me. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. Somebody's house burns down. Somebody's hubcap fell off. Somebody's soul got lost. Somebody's heart got broke. I heard Red Donnelly say it was on the news today. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. It's a cold, hard world. Oh no. Try to remember, but my feelings can't know for sure. I try to reach out, but it's gone. Lucky stars in your eyes. I am walking the cow. Lucky stars in your eyes. I really don't know why I came in here. I really don't know why I'm staying here. Oh, 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 oh. I am walking the cow. I tried to point my finger, but the wind was blowing me around in circles, circles. Lucky stars in your eyes. I am walking the cow. Lucky stars in your eyes. I really don't know what I have to fear. I really don't know what I have to care. Oh, 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 oh. I am walking the cow. Lucky stars find you in the end. You're gonna find out just who was your friend. But don't be sad, I know you will. But don't give up until true love will find you in the end. This is a promise with a catch. Only if you're looking can it find you. 'Cause true love is searching too. And how can it recognize you unless you step out into the light, the light? But don't be sad, I know you will. But don't give up until true love will find you in the end. Don't be sad, I know you will. But don't give up until true love will find you in the end. But don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in